Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Melos Machina. It has been 2 weeks since we've had the chance to see you wonderful folks. Hope that you have had a fantastic time. We are back at it again to continue on this adventure. Oh boy. Level 5, y'all. Yeah.
So exciting.
So cool.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. Before we dive into the episode, however, we do have an announcement from the continuing sponsor of Melos Machina.
Cantrip Candles.
Yeah.
A big thank you to our sponsor for Melos Machina, Cantrip Candles. Cantrip Candles makes soy candles with a story. They've been purveyors of magical scents since 2017, with iconic scents like Black Cow Tavern, Stone Moss Chapel, Library Scriptorium, and more. You can go to cantripcandles.com and use our code APACK, that's APACK, at checkout for 10% off of your entire order. And just get the smell goods, tell them who sent you, which is us, the Adventurers Pack, and tell us in chat what your favorite scent is. Yeah.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cantrip. And also, congratulations.
Yeah, new expansion. If you want to go to the store in Hollywood, Santa Monica Boulevard.
bigger.
If you go to
It's
their
huge.
Instagram or their TikTok, they've got this really cute video talking about the new space. So go check out their social media.
Lots of stuff.
All right. Well, I think that pretty much covers it. We are going to be, we're going to be heading on in. So,
right.
players, with no massive amounts of stress at the start of this one.
Well, oh, and whose fault is that?
Oh, yeah. Are you ready for today's episode?
Uh-huh.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
So
All
ready.
right. When last we met our adventurers, in the darkness of the Jaudekian ruins, you had investigated the bodies of the mysterious dwarves that you had pursued from the Lockjumper. With an assortment of items on their person, the most notable of which being an amulet of the Dark Beacon and a matching tattoo. Being alone and far enough away from endangering anyone, Finn took the opportunity to finally open the Cracker Jack box. Inside, you found a blue crystal crackling with energy, which you identified as a core shard. With these answers leading to more questions, and the weight of your duty hanging over you, you returned to the Lockjumper, you debriefed the crew, and decompressed. Most of you turned in for the evening, with Finn staying up, unable to sleep, as the ship continued on its way to venture. It is still very early morning hours. As you had gone to bed, it took very little time for the hints of daylight to begin peeking over the horizon. You suspect there's maybe, at most, an hour. As the boat continues gently, quietly, and gracefully making its way up the river. Finn, you standing at the bow, peering out all of the thoughts of the day before and now the knowledge of everything that you've uncovered. You have a moment where you feel a presence. And as you look over your shoulder, the captain is there. Not pushing into your space, sort of gazing off in the same direction as you. Says, "A lot on the mind, huh?"
Always is. Especially after a night like last night. But new day ahead.
Do you all traveling up to Venture, do you mind me asking what's next for you after this?
Well, if I could safely answer that, I would. I had no idea what the last week would hold, and something tells me the next week will be quite the same. But hopefully, meet some new friends, discover new ventures of our own, and then hopefully head back to Melos Machina.
I know it might be hard, but hope you get some rest.
I'll try. I will eventually.
With that, he turns and heads back towards the stairs leading up to the upper deck. Give me a perception check.
Yeah. That'll be a 9.
Okay.
It's been a long night. Actually, am I exhausted yet?
As you look back and see the captain, you see him head up towards the helm. You grab and you see him grab a rope that was tied around the helm, keeping it kind of in a position. And as you watch that, you feel the weight kind of hit your eyes. And that's your first level of exhaustion.
Got it. Last roll without advantage. How disadvantage.
I think I would have been up for a little bit since I had already gotten my rest. And I'll just bring up a mug of tea for myself and one for Finn. And just walk up and hand one. No offense, you look a little like shit.
Well, at least I'll maybe start fitting in. Take a sip of the tea. Oh, local?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's the lock jumper.
I'm starting to run low. So local will do for today.
Yeah, sometimes you need the local on mornings like this.
Right, yeah. Not sure I'd appreciate the good stuff right now anyway. Did you get some rest?
Some. Mind is racing, obviously.
Mine too. You know, it's weird. Nothing really changed, knowing what we're carrying around, and yet somehow it feels so dramatically different.
It feels, at the same time, less and more dangerous.
Mostly more for me, yeah. But, you know, it's good to know, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, knowledge is always good. Most of the time.
Tell that to my father and the order. Seems like a lot of times knowledge can be weaponized.
Yeah. It's another resource, I suppose. Those who have it, and those who don't, suffer.
That's right.
Do you know what's supposed to happen when we, I assume, turn this in to your bosses?
To my knowledge, they take it from there, and then Andy and I will be assigned to our next mission. Why?
It just seems like there's a lot of mistrust around the people in power everywhere.
Yeah, that's true for me, anyway. I said there's only one person I'll be handing this off to, and him I trust.
It's good.
I think I found a way to get word through ahead. I mean, I've worked through the night on it, and I'm not prepared to try just yet, but I can maybe get a lay of the land and a sense of how much danger we're actually in carrying this thing.
I mean, any information would be good. I mean, even to get like an extraction or.
Yeah.
Just seems like none of us really know what to expect in Venture. And we have the Cracker Jack with us. Seems like a bad place for bad things to happen to that.
That's one way to put it, for sure. That said, I don't know about extraction per se. Aaron seems to have some kind of method if it comes to that, and well, if I get word back that is necessary, we have that option. But as far as the lawkeepers can do, they'd just send out another pair of lawkeepers and conservators to take over, and I don't think that's a great way to end our first assignment.
We'll get you there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you nervous to go back to the city?
Excited?
Good.
Nervous is. It's been so long.
I'm interested to see if you think it's changed much.
I mean, it's been 60 years. It must have.
It's hard for me to say, but maybe fuller, maybe not. I don't know.
I barely remember any time right before. It's just always like, we're gonna leave, and then we left. Didn't really think about it much until you all showed up.
Right. How old were you?
Just a little bit older than you are now.
Maybe I'll follow in your footsteps.
I mean, I'd say don't, but you're kind of already are.
Well, my return will be swifter, hopefully.
I think technically we're following your footsteps anyway. You're the one with the job.
Suppose so. Thank you for tagging along. I didn't mean to loop you guys into this all. It's
I
quite a
mean,
mess.
Everything over the last few weeks have just kind of happened.
That's true.
And Dwalthi and I are pretty much go with the flow wherever the wind takes us, and heck, that's what brought us together. It was happenstance. So
Some might say that is the order doing what it does.
yes, the order puts balance in everything.
The end of the cycle.
Yes. Well, don't make it a habit staying up like this.
Oh, I think it'll be more like breaking a habit, but you're right.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable. Especially not out here. And much easier in the halls of the Aether God.
Yeah. A lot of sunlight there, or is it just study?
Through the windows, I didn't go outside much after I joined, but that was mostly by choice. It's not like we were in prison there. But, you know, something more satisfying reading and writing by candlelight than sunlight for me.
Can't fault you for that.
It's a mood.
It's totally lit.
Yes.
By the way, I think my book is toying with me. It's kind of mad.
Does it have a personality?
It's hard not to see it that way sometimes. I asked it about the core shot we picked up, and, well, It just wrote back at me, secret secrets. Felt like it was taunting me. It does that.
Cheeky. Pal,
Pal, right?
do you know much about them, it, him?
It's, I try to stick to they, mostly for now, and no, absolutely not. I know this is not supposed to happen. Lore keepers are assigned these books. They're a tool for the trade, like Chauncey. But in terms of personality, that is not supposed to happen. I named it him, it, they, she, who knows. My personal autonomous library, and somehow that stuck to Pal. And, well, I don't think of them as a library anymore. Whether that's true or not.
More like a librarian.
A cheeky one.
Yeah.
It's one with not a lot of answers.
Secrets, I suppose.
I think that's on me.
Does it only know what you feed it?
It's hard to say. It seems to be that way. It often speaks back in phrases that I've written, but in a new context, with insights I couldn't possibly have given it.
Suppose you're gonna have to do more research.
Never-ending task, it seems.
Just kind of stare out at the horizon. You sure we're on the right path?
I'm not sure of anything I can, but seems as good a path as any.
It does. All right. I'm gonna do some calisthenics or something.
I'd join you, but I'm a little bushed.
Yeah. And enjoy your local.
Thank you for the kindness.
Of course. Gotta take care of ourselves.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. I'll just kind of find a empty space where I'm not in the way.
Sure. It is aside from the cargo on the deck, a very open space.
Cool.
Just go back to staring out at the horizon, kind of aimlessly.
As you do, those hints of sunlight fade into a soft glow as you look over to the east. You can see the sun beginning to rise. As you look back across, far in the back, you can see the hint of the ruined tower continuing to fade into the distance.
Just a small smile cracks my lips and watch it fade away.
For those of you who only need to trance, your evening has come and gone. You've taken your rest. I believe your rest was interrupted, right, Andy? Or did you go to bed early?
I went to bed earlier than the rest of them.
So you haven't gotten originally a full night's rest, are
Yeah.
essentially taking the rest of kind of a little bit of a nap.
Yeah.
With the sun up, your eyes start to have that achy, soft burn, and your guts have that slight quease of having gone without pulled an all-nighter.
Yep. I will just head under deck and head to my hammock, but not sleep, just sketch the ruins from memory.
As you head down, You do see, you pass Jeffrin, who is kind of coming up. Seems as though he got a quick bit of a nap in as well. He looks a little tired around the eyes, but looks also like this is not... He's used to getting just quick bursts of sleep. And as he passes you, just gives a quick morning. Down below, Zachary is still heavily asleep in his hammock.
Good.
Impressive. You see no sign of Hutch, nor Claudine, or the Lady Elaine. And
If we've gotten a rest, I would like to go. Is there anywhere where, I doubt it very much, but is there anywhere on this boat where I could be alone?
depending on how you time it, many places.
Well, I would try to time it.
As you are, in the bow with all of the hammocks, there's many of you. At the moment, it's you, Andy, Aaron, and Finn have all resting in there as Aiken is still up and about. Looking through the main sleeping quarters, storage galley area, it's kind of become a bit of a makeshift with all the new cargo that's come about. Aside from a sleeping Zachary, you appear to be alone.
Okay. I would like to. So, the cargo is not in the same room we sleep in, all right? Or am I confused?
It's a separate room on the very bow. You've got the
Right.
front section that has all the hammocks, a small doorway that leads into what was another sort of cargo area that's been converted to have more sleeping area.
Okay.
And then also to the side of that is the dining area and galley.
Okay. I mean, if I'm alone in here, I suppose I can take. How long is it now? It is 11 minutes. And hopefully Zachary will stay asleep, and I'll go try and get in the corner, and I would like to pull out my bones and take off my bracelet and begin casting augury.
Sure. 10 minutes goes by uninterrupted, save for the occasional hard snore from Zach.
I will look down at the bones, and I will also reach into one of my pouches and pull out the necklace with the symbol of the hands outstretched. And I will set it down on the ground next to me. I will look at the bones. I will say, I don't know what this symbol means, but it was very important to some people whose motives I do not know or understand. If I was to wear it, would you disapprove? I would like to launch.
As the bones scatter, they hit the wood of the floor, and in a moment as they bounce, the pieces of them together almost form the shape of a body, like a stick figure. And you see in that flash of a moment, the limbs grow longer as they fall farther and farther apart, and the head tips and falls. The legs fall, the arms fall, and the body's the last as it hits the ground. It is mixed.
Okay, well, I was kind of hoping for yes or no, but I guess we can just be mysterious then, and I'll just scoop the bones in to the bag, and I'll just look at it. And But the
Your exact wording was disapprove, or
would you disapprove of me wearing this symbol? Would it be bad?
weigh that heavier on the negative side.
Okay then. In that case, I'm going to put it back in my pocket. And I'm going to think about that for a few minutes.
Okay.
Right, what we do?
Well, that's magic. I don't know.
Do you want this? Maybe
That's exactly what I'm gonna have to do though, but I just don't want to.
I'll slowly wake up and I slept. I can reach Chauncey from where
Oh
I
yeah,
am.
you can get.
Slept with my hand on Chauncey because I was comforted by the fact that he's okay now. And kind of pat him, get up, and start kind of mulling around on ways I can make my armor stronger.
Okay. You've seen so many things, armored creatures, that living metal, and you have seen now odd spellcasters wrapped in shadows, and both magical and strangely natural ways of creating armor in this world, and so many ways that just spark inspiration for you.
Yeah. So I'll kind of take my armor and start just kind of playing around with what I have.
So I will say working on the armor will be a little loud.
Right. Is anyone else in there, or
In
is
the
it
bow right
just-
now, you've got Finn and Aaron, and then there's
Aaron's
also a
still
sleeping
sleeping.
Zachary right across the way.
Okay, I'll wait then. And just kind of, take out some paper that I might have and start kind of drawing out some ideas.
So you have a very clear idea of what you want to
Yeah.
do.
So just make a plan so that when people are up, I can make it.
You could. You've spent, well, not as much time on deck as the rest, but enough to know that if you wanted a place to tinker, you might be able to do it, just not like right next to everyone's beds.
Totally. I think I'll just take the time to be slow about it anyway. Needed some alone time.
Duathi, as you were hanging out in the main quarters, you see Hutch come out from the back. As you look over, he kind of sees you,
Well,
gives a
good
nod.
morning.
Morning.
Hope you had a good night and you got some good rest.
Yeah, we'll say I did.
Fair enough.
Turns and heads back up.
I suppose on that note, I should probably head up to it, start enjoying the sunshine of the day. Kind of grumpily come upstairs.
As you do, you also now pass Jeffrin, who's now coming down.
Oh.
Says, "Oh, good morning.
Good morning. How are you feeling this day?
I am sore, but I am good. I'm just getting ready to make up some breakfast for us all."
Oh my goodness, I'm so glad to see you're doing better now. Magic really helps, but you know, time is
Mhm.
sort of the best thing, so.
I think so, and I think this spot right here, as he kind of gestures, you see him wince a little bit. I could use a little time.
Okay, well, you stretch it out, and I hope you take care of yourself. And if you need anything, just let me know. If you need any help, there's no shame in asking for it. You take care of yourself. You only get the one body, you know?
I didn't really think about it that way.
Yeah.
Can I get you anything? I'm making tea,
Oh, I forgot a cup
and
of tea.
Beside that, I've got porridge for breakfast.
Ooh, okay. I guess I'll come. You know, I was going to go get some sunshine, but if there's going to be food and breakfast, I'm going to go down
Oh,
to the galley.
sit.
then.
I'll yeah, come on over. Yeah,
Are you sure? I don't
Of
want to make
course.
any trouble for you.
I
don't
have to
mind.
do this anyway. Please have a seat. With that, he pops into the galley, and you hear a flame quickly crackle as soft rattling of pots and pans, and he gets to it.
Okay.
Very quickly, he brings over a warm mug that's steaming, and you can see one of large sticks that are kind of resting in there, and you can see little bits of the oils seeping out of them.
Oh. Okay. What are these?
It's a birch branch. Gives a little bit of a kick, you know. But give it about 3 minutes, and
I will do my best to do it. Thank you so very much.
very welcome. And yeah, goes about. As he's in the kitchen, you kind of glance over and you see a couple times as he's working. He takes a moment, just stretches.
Good for you. I'm going to stare at my cup and stare very hard into the bottom and do a lot of thinking.
Dorothy, I'll do my best to wait.
How steady or aggressive is the bob of the ship on the river?
It's very calm. It's with there being little to no swells on the river, it feels far more like gliding, with just the occasional leaning to one side as a little more wind catches a sail.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as like a bob or a sway, it's a very smooth ride.
After finishing my rest, I'd like to think I'd spend a bit time above decks, just enjoying some calmness, but then a kick of inspiration kind of flushes over me, and I can't shake this desire from my brain. So I'm going to head down to the same table that we had dinner at.
You see
with-
Dorothy there now with a mug just staring down.
and as I sit down, I'm going to draw from my pouch a piece of parchment, an inkwell, pen, and I very much would like to attempt to write a letter
Sure.
in a steady hand as I can. And I would like to attempt to perfectly recreate Winston's handwriting. I got a very good glance at the letter summoning us to Overseer's house in the inn in River's Meet.
Fair. Do you have any? Oh, what's the feat that you can recall?
Keen
perfectly?
mind is not particularly helpful, I think, for handwriting.
No.
There's nothing immediate that I'm
Okay.
trying to utilize at my disposal. I am
No
simply
forgery kit.
Yeah, no forgery kit, no painter's tools or anything at my disposal. I am
Okay.
simply trying to do this as
Freehand.
freehand.
Okay. We're gonna a couple of checks. We're gonna start with a intelligence, just for you essentially searching through to remember the handwriting.
Cool. 13.
13. Okay. Yeah, thinking back to the letter that was the invitation to the overseer's estate. You've got a pretty decent image in your head, and you believe it to be reliable. Go ahead and now give me a. This will be a dexterity check without any forgery kit or on you. It's just going to be a straight dexterity.
Mm-hmm. 10.
10. Writing it from memory, and even as you're doing it, you're thinking to yourself, God, it'd be nice to have this here. And you get. Are you trying to recreate the letter or simply just the writing?
No, the essence of. I'm trying to communicate the education level of the person who wrote it.
Gotcha.
Somebody who's practiced at communications and
Okay.
giving
so,
written orders, but in a hand that is not my own.
Finishing it, you look down and you recall the wording, and you feel as though you've got the essence of what was being conveyed, and you think that, like, the style of language, you're pretty spot on. As far as it looking like whoever wrote it, that one you're not as sure about.
Okay.
You know what? If you were to be imitating their voice, you've got the words. You don't know if you have the accent.
Fair enough. I'll just spend probably. I think I would take a good amount of time, probably an hour's worth of concentration on just trying to really perfect, more so, a style of handwriting that is not my own, and that takes the majority of my concentration. But after doing so, I will especially give most of the effort to the signature, to my strongest concentration, and then.
With taking an hour on this, working on it, at one point, there's a mug that sat next to you, and and as you look up, good morning. It seems hot. What can I get you? Any food?
And who am I looking at?
This is Jeffrin.
Jeffrin. Good morning, Jeffrin. Spot of light breakfast. Any anything sweet?
Of course.
Would
And
be of particular liking this morning?
I can put a little bit of brown sugar. Do you like cinnamon?
A touch. Don't go heavy-handed, please.
Goes back in very quickly. Comes back out with a bowl with a bit of porridge. You can see some brown sugar has been sprinkled over it, and a stick of cinnamon has been put in at the side. Eat up and have a good morning.
A few more days to venture, right?
Yes, I think if we keep this up with the stop off that we had at the night, somewhere between 2 and 3 at this point.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Forgive me if this is overstepping, but where are you headed next? Do you have additional assignments once you return to Venture, or once you arrive, will you be looking for work then, you think?
Oh, it all depends. Usually from Venture, once we do a Rivers Meet to Venture, we have a little bit of a layover. We get to stay there for a day or two, but this one being sort of an emergency run, I think we'll probably be heading to Lockheed pretty quickly after this.
What is this?
Let me pull up my map for you.
Map zone. Unmap.
Of course.
Where's my world map?
Good question.
Can we see?
Oh, 1 second, hold on. Sorry, not Lockheed. Virlock is the name. That is the the last really big frontier town before hitting tall raps.
gross.
The last big frontier town before hitting Nerith Cadro.
I see. One second.
Still don't know how to spell near Cadra.
I understand the waterways between Riversmeet and Venture are not as heavily traveled. Though if I wanted to send word back to Riversmeet once we arrive,
Mhm.
how would you propose I do so?
Well, you could, depending on how quickly you want to do it, there's services. You could hire a mage to send word down instantly. You could send. You could probably also see about sending a messenger bird.
Very well.
Then, other than that, obviously there's the boats, and those would be, I would say, the three, depending on the speed with which you are looking to send a message.
Yes. Unfortunately, I don't quite trust the waterways to deliver important information at this moment.
Mm.
You understand my drift. They are quite turbulent.
I would say they are, but this is also, you've seen them at the worst of times. And I'd like to think that we've made it through the worst of times all right.
True.
But, yes. Well, I'm going to take some of this up to Hutch and the captain and see if anyone else needs anything. So if you don't mind me, I could excuse myself.
By all means. Watch your head.
Are you looking to send a letter to somebody, Aaron?
Not particularly. I'm trying to suss out the level of communication extension out here.
Oh.
The Overseer and others in Riversmeet of import are, well, they boast themselves as isolated, yet we very well know that if information needs to travel, it can be done so with expediency if the right talents and persuasions are involved. I'm trying to get a read on whether or not any of the mishaps in Riversmeet have beaten us to venture.
Like the letter that you found in Riversmeet, in the trying to see if those people are moving word around.
Possibly. I also want to be able. I don't want to lose complete contact with Riversmeet entirely, for our sake or for others.
That's fair. And I mean, you have a friend there, right? Whose ever house you were staying. I guess they weren't there, but
No,
you know.
they were not there. I do not expect to see them there anytime soon. However, just want to keep. I want to keep the line viable.
They were very nice people in Riversmeet, I understand.
Precisely.
Okay. Well, I'm not very good at writing letters, but if there's anything you need, let me know. I'm going to go sit on the dock.
Enjoy the view.
Thank you. And I'll take what's left of my tea and head up
All right.
to the deck.
GM, I have a question.
Yes.
Over this period of days where we are on the boat, I would like to spend as much of the off time, like, there's a lot of hours in the day, learning, like, more of the terminology of the ships and, like, how things work, and kind of shadowing Hutch and Jeffrin and the captain, helping out where I can, just as, like, I want to learn more about this kind of vehicle.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Just like,
If you were to say it was a
it's
time
fascinating. I've been on lots of watercraft now, and
vehicle, maybe a water vehicle, maybe.
yeah, I want it to learn.
Sure.
So, yeah, that's just been happening and will continue to happen.
Sure. I'll say as you've, in some time, been chatting with both Jeffrin and Tealston, that you are. They're allowing you to do kind of a shadowing, and especially after the recent events. They've opened up a little more as they seem to see you less as just a passenger and more of like, I know they said that they could pull their own weight, but yeah, we saw it now.
Oh. Cool.
Proven ourselves.
I think, yeah, I suppose I would just sort of watch and sort of try and be out of the way.
All right. Well, with the morning kind of going straight into it, the day beginning to pass, I'll leave it up to you all. You are studying and observing and learning all that you can about this vessel. I haven't taken some time to kind of work on the letter. And is there anything else that anyone would like to do during this time? I know you wanted to work on your armor. And
I will simply offer up cards for whoever wants to play
sure.
as like the daily pastime.
I'll say as the morning continues on, eventually it's around 11 o'clock that Claudine kind of works her way out of her room and appears on deck. Kind of takes some time and is looking out over the water and sees you all. Morning. You look how I feel.
I hope I look worse than you feel. But
You know what? Maybe I'll take that. Maybe.
I'm very sorry that I startled you on accident. I was just trying to be careful.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was me. I was trying to see if there was something still on the boat, and I was going to come and hit them if anyone was trying to hurt anyone. But apparently there was no one on the boat, and I was just being sneaky for no reason. So I am sorry. I did not want to startle you.
Give me a persuasion roll.
Too precious.
Natural one. That's a 3.
It's a 3.
It's a 3.
oh boy,
That dice is good.
making friends.
I am sure that with time I will find it far funnier than it felt in the moment. And thank you for what you did. And by you, I mean you as a group.
It's okay for you to be upset about it. I understand.
A bit more upset about the whole situation.
That's fair. It was pretty awful.
It was.
Yeah.
Has it ever happened on a ship that you were accompanying before?
Attempted robbery has, yes. And, just to say that I was able to observe it more from, like, a distance and be able to say, job well done, you've stopped it, and, good job stabbing that person. And less of a in the fray.
Well, since you ended up working on your vacation, do you now get to take more vacation?
I certainly hope so. Let's just say that I will be submitting a request.
As you should.
As I
Well,
should.
I suppose you must be relieved it was not any of the Silver Palms cargo that was targeted in this robbery.
No, upon further reflection, that is true. I had considered that it was all of this is the Silver Palms cargo, but you're right. It was simply a person.
It seemed that way.
Yeah.
You don't transport people, right?
No,
I mean, in that sense.
no. It's not my job to secure the safety of the passengers.
Actually, while we're kind of on the subject of your cargo,
Mhm.
we were curious because we saw the oh gosh, what was the cider?
Oh, the casks.
Yeah, the casks. We saw the casks come on
Mhm.
of the cider that they make
Yes.
in Gladen.
Yes, the Mistful Cidery.
Yes, Mistfuls. We were just curious because we loved it so much there,
Mhm.
where it's being served in Venture.
That is an excellent question. I don't fully know.
Okay.
My job is to oversee the transport of this.
Right.
The reselling it and the further distribution of that is going to be that'll be up to a different clerk.
Got it.
Is there any way you could put us in touch with the next clerk?
Well, if you're interested in making an offer for it, or I suppose I could. Sorry, it's also not on me to. I wasn't expecting to do as much business on this trip.
No, sorry.
It's all right. I need to take a moment and conduct myself and remind myself of who I am and what I am doing. If you'll forgive me for my earlier demeanor, but if you are interested in this being more of a business transaction, then yes, we can absolutely talk more about this.
I think we might be in the market.
Mhm.
Or at the very least, if we ask the person who you give it to who usually buys it, then, we can know where to buy it when we get to Venture, because we are going to, have a few days there and have some adventures and things, and so, it would be nice to know where to get something that we know we like.
Once it is purchased, there will be a writ of sale, and from there, if you're inquiring as to who has picked it up, well, we can, depending on the information, with it being food for preparation and service, there's typically a degree of confidentiality with purchases, but with this being more of open market and food, we may be able to provide you with those records.
Excellent.
Hooray.
And have these already been claimed? Or if we wanted to buy a cask right now, is that even possible?
I don't believe they have been. I think that these are being delivered to Venture. There should be someone. All I know is I am taking this to go to the warehouse. From there might be a buyer. It might simply be an open sale. This was very much a last minute thing.
Sure.
As again, remember, I was not supposed to be here.
Right.
That's right.
Okay.
So when I left Venture, there was not any. There was not an open order for anything from the Mistfall Cidery. That is what I know.
All right. Well, I appreciate the information, and if you could put us in touch with the right people once we arrive, be much appreciated.
Well, to be perfectly honest, we are the right people to be in touch with. So if they have already been claimed, then they will have been purchased, and you can pick it up wherever it is that it is going to be served. And again, I think, given the circumstance and given your interest in it, I'm sure whoever is buying it would be happy to tell you where it's going to be, so that they can serve it and make money off of it. If it is not being picked up, well then we would be the ones to facilitate the deal.
Okay. So should we just stop by the Silver Palm in Venture? Or how will you get in touch with us?
Once it has been delivered, there should be someone at the docks.
Oh, great.
yes.
Once we get there.
There should be another clerk from the
Okay,
Silver Palm
great.
who, at the docks. They'll have all the records that you need for it.
Perfect.
And
We appreciate it.
Well, it's all the same to you. I think I've had as much sleep as I can, but I am going to lay down for a little bit longer.
Please do.
Take
Excuse
care
me.
of yourself. I'm going to go back and find another place on the deck where I can, watch everyone work, but not be in the way. And you know what? No, I'm going to use my wild shape to once again become a little gray cat and climb back up to the top of the crow's nest and see if I can see anything.
Sure. Going back up to the top of the crow's nest, looking about over the plains, what are you looking for?
I mean, first, anything that looks familiar. And if nothing looks familiar, observe it.
First, if nothing looks familiar, and then observing. Well, with where
Get
you
your
are.
world map again?
Looking about, you can see that the river is at another of its wider points. You see it to be roughly 2 miles wide here. Yeah. And there are those moments where you feel as though, oh, if I pretend just for a little bit, this could almost be vast. And you look ahead as to where the lock jumper is going. You can see that the river winds, and in the near distance, you can see it begin to take a sharp turn to the right. And as you peer over there, you also see rolling hills, and the western bank begin to rise. It looks like far, far ahead, the landscape changes from, or at least the landscape on either side of the river changes to some cliffs.
Like the cliffs are along the water?
Looks like just along the western coast.
Bank? And beyond the cliffs, does it look like there are mountains or
Well, at
anything?
this point, that is
This is
barely
far?
the extent of where you can see. It's hazy from what you're making out.
Okay.
For the most part, to the right, it's less forest now and just open plains. As the wind blows, you can see it ripple through the tall grass. To the left, on the other side of the river, you see more forest.
Alright. Well, I'll spend my hour up there that I can, and then I'll crawl back down. I don't know who's on the deck doing what around that time.
I'd probably be up top, kind of
Yeah.
just leaning against the rail, bouncing between either side.
I was gonna say after I'm done with my armor, I was gonna go play cards with Aaron.
So working on your armor, you takes you about an hour after the rest to sit down, and with this inspiration that you've had, and you haven't even really needed to use the components that you have with your own tools. You take your own armor and you begin working on it, and you feel that inspiration that strikes you, that you had when you were a kid and that you've learned to harness and channel now as an adult. And with the magic that is flowing through you, there are moments where in your armor you create new linings, and it's like the metal grows and flows.
Hmm.
And with the artistry that you have with it, it takes a little bit of inspiration from the strange metallic creatures, one of which you have on the ship, but less of the violent aspect of them, and a little more Chauncey-esque. And you complete your infusion.
Okay. After feeling inspired, after feeling a little defeated last night, I'll feel more ready to meet the world and find Aaron and say, cards?
More the merrier. I'm finished playing solitaire 5 times over. You see Aaron's mage hand will help deal the whole time. Fancy yourself a gambler?
I don't think so, but you
Just
know.
for fun, then. How
Yeah.
about it? What drew you, if you don't mind, to metallurgy, to working with this particular medium?
Oh, well, my father is a blacksmith, and he was kind of looking for someone to take over for him. And none of my sisters were really interested. So, I was the one who kind of helped him out. And as I was the one kind of usually sent out to get metal pieces and such from, you know, various rubbish places, junkyards, I just started kind of finding materials and I don't know, inspiration just kind of came, and I started thinking about, you know, other than the simple, not that what my father does is simple, I shouldn't say that, but what more I could do with it to make things, I don't know, that like had a life of their own.
I see. And
Not necessarily in a life, but that could move and do things.
and the conservators offered you an avenue that you couldn't achieve in your hometown?
Yeah, I'm from a small town, so it was more I started building Chauncey and the people in the town took interest. And you know, I think in the best way possible, but kind of used me to get the attention of the order a little bit. But I also got something out of it. So
then, what now? You obviously have these skills to your disposal. I'm sure you want to do more than just retrieve assigned junk for someone else. What do you wish to create beyond Chauncey?
I mean, so many things. If I were given the freedom, I would probably make a lot more things like Chauncey and things that don't know, could help people. But I know that's not really possible the way things work here. So I guess I'm lucky enough to be close to what I like to do and be able to study it. And I don't know, maybe one day I'll be able to do more. But right now it's fairly frowned upon. Slash not possible because I don't have the tools to make things come alive like Chauncey.
You crack open a few more Cracker Jacks, huh?
I don't know if that would do it, but yeah.
What did we find?
I don't. Finn will know more, and honestly, we didn't have a ton of time to talk about it, just with the insanity of last night. But
Is it worth all the trouble that we've gone through so
I
far?
mean, it's dangerous. It is what it is. It can do more or less what we imagined it could do. We have it contained for now. But it's not safe.
How could it be used against us? Think. There might be beneficial properties, but
I mean,
how? If we can think ahead of whatever they're planning to do with it, then we can try and catch them at it.
again, I think Finn will have a lot more answers than I will, but I think it's an unstable force.
Natural, you said? Pure from the ground.
And very rare and
Coveted, clearly.
yeah.
What's it worth to the Order, you think?
I mean, they will not be thrilled that that there seems to be some sort of black market where you can get such things. I think it'll probably lead to much bigger investigations, I would imagine.
Yes.
I don't think, since this is Finn and my first job, and I don't think they were aware of how big this was.
Certainly not.
No.
Well, I cannot wait to meet your teachers and hear what they have to say about it.
Well, I'm sure Finn is excited to introduce you to his maester, and mine's pretty fun too.
Would you like another hand? Would you like your cards to play?
Yeah.
Actually, I imagine around that time I'd probably come bouncing on over. I'm so sorry. I know you're both playing a game. I just had a really quick question, and then please continue doing what you were doing.
Sure.
Up ahead there are what look like some hills and some cliffs. What does the land look like up ahead? Do we know? Does anybody know?
I think the best person to ask would be the Captain Tillotson. Seems that they travel these waters more frequently than not, and we've not raised any alarm or concern regarding the approaching countryside, so I say we carry on as calmly as we can.
I don't know a ton about these parts, unfortunately.
Fair enough. Okay, thank you so much, though. I appreciate the help. I really do. Okay, I will go find the captain.
As you are up on deck, you're able to look back and just see the captain is there, just steadfast at the helm.
Well, isn't that perfect? I'm going to go right up to the captain.
You look like somebody with a purpose.
I do. I just had a really quick question about what
Ask away.
the land looks like as we're going up ahead here. So what I was curious about, I see some sort of cliffs and some hills and things like that coming up ahead on the west side, right? I
This side here, and he gestures over to the.
That is right. Yes. I was sort of curious. Beyond that, are there more hills? Are there mountains? Do they have a name? Do you know what's beyond that?
Oh, the Raisin Cliffs. They are. They go on for a bit, but that's where Venture is.
Is Venture on top of the cliffs?
Oh, just you wait.
Oh, I'm excited to see it. Beyond that, are there hills or mountains or anything like that?
It Rose. The Raisin Cliffs are pretty much the direct line from Venture to Saros Manor. That is where that ends. They go back down once you head back farther inland, and once you head towards North Caudrel, and as you make your way over to Verilok, it's similar to what we've seen before, but a little more woodlandy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And once you get to the lake area, it feels a little more wetlandy.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I was just trying to see what was coming ahead. Thank you.
It's a good way of thinking about it. Always looking ahead.
Okay. I'll go sit.
Finn, during all this time, just kind of resting in the bow.
Yeah, I think I would have sketched out the ruins best I could from memory, and then just kind of observed the happenings on the deck in half a days.
As you are, from your time resting, and as we kind of bring our timeline all back together, you head back to head up on deck. You see Zachary sitting at the table, his head in his hands, and a 1,000-yard stare. And he sees you kind of step out from the room, and he looks up and looks back down.
Everything all right?
Yeah. So Jeffrin told me last night, huh?
That's right. You're well on your way to being a conservator. Andy also can sleep like a rock.
I am sorry. I should have been there. No, I took an oath. And my first day of taking the oath, I slept through it. I should have at least helped.
I think in my exhausted state, I would have tried to contain the laugh, and it wouldn't have fully stayed inside. Oh, you sweet boy. Don't worry. You are not yet a conservator or a junior conservator, or really officially any kind of conservator. You've taken the oath. You are on your way. But we could not have taken you with us. It would have been far too dangerous. Don't fret.
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh my god. Poor baby.
At disad.
Yeah, you're tired.
Oh yeah.
Don't worry about it, kid. Don't worry about it.
Hey, it'll be fine.
That's a 9.
It's a 9. He's
Something.
You see him take a deep breath. He still looks troubled, but lessens. Okay. All right.
Well, in fact, the whole group was quite concerned about your safety, and as soon as we saw that you were still sleeping, we figured let you rest. We have a big day ahead and lots of research to do, so we need
Right.
a well-rested research assistant.
No one's mad at me.
No, of course not.
Okay. Alright. I'm not gonna lie, I would have been scared out of my mind.
I was scared out of my mind.
Really?
Yeah, I'm scared a lot.
Really?
Yeah, and don't tell them, but I think Andy is too sometimes. It's okay. We both almost cried on the way back.
I spilled. I did.
Tea.
Okay. I'm gonna...
It's not easy business.
Okay.
I got knocked on my butt the first 2 encounters on our first mission out. So, if anything, you're already a pro.
Alright. Well, thanks. I'm gonna keep having my food. Alright.
You do that, and
Well,
you're doing a great job.
He just kind of keeps looking down now at his porridge.
Just awkwardly, just
Mhm.
all right. I'll leave.
As you step away, walking towards the back, towards the stairs, you see the Lady Elaine kind of leaning against the wall, or the wall of the hallway that leads to the 2 back rooms. She seems to have been watching this. He really was just terrified when he found out.
Well, he's a sweet kid, very well-meaning, and well, it would have been far more terrifying out there. So
Yeah. You know, so are you.
I'm terrifying, or I was terrified.
Sweet kid. And well-meaning. At least I think.
Oh. I break eye contact and blush. Thank you. You're quite kind yourself. I think I mentioned last night, but I may have been quick to prejudice when it comes to you. I looked into your journal. I'm very sorry. I
It's okay.
didn't want to pry. Just wanted to know what was so important. I think I get it.
There's a lot in this world that's very important. But, I think it's also important to be not quick to judge, but maybe not quick to trust either.
That's a lesson I keep learning. Did you do the enchantment yourself?
No.
It's quite good.
It was expensive too.
I am sure. It's
But-
far beyond my capabilities as well.
I'm sure you'll get that.
I'm sure I will too. And how about you? You're a practitioner of magic, I presume.
Not really.
More of a hobbyist then.
I see it as a tool, as something that is accessible, but it is not something that I innately have.
I understand.
My magic is with my words.
I see. Well, your words are quite beautiful.
Well, have a good morning, Finn.
You too, Lady Ellen. And thank you.
And she walks past you with a smile. She heads into the galley. Looks like she's pouring herself some of the tea.
loosen my tie and collar a little bit. Quick glance over the shoulder and head up to the deck, a little flustered.
Glance over the shoulder, you see she seems to be sitting down with Zachary, and you head upstairs. It's a beautiful day, and a beautiful now leading into the afternoon. Exhausted, but with still so much ahead of you and many an early task done. And for the first time in a while, at least since heading towards Gladen, you feel that moment of there is nothing that you need to do except just be there. And with that, we're going to take our break, everyone. We'll be back here in 10 minutes to see what our players do when they don't need to do anything.
Oh.
We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We hope that you enjoyed your break. Grab a seat and relax as the rest of us are relaxing.
What is relax?
What is relaxing? As we dive back into the episode.
Relax the cliffs.
It's been a lovely afternoon here on the Lock Jumper. The skies have been clear, with a little bit of cloud cover, so not too much sun, but just enough to feel warm. The winds have been steady. The ride has been smooth. And none of the other passengers have done anything shady.
Wow.
Yet.
We've eliminated 2 of them.
Let's see what happens when the sun goes down.
It's like every night. We need a Frenchman to assist.
I know at a certain point I'll probably go, you're doing a very good job, Viking. Thank you.
Thanks. There's a lot of ropes on these things.
I've noticed. You're doing a very good job, though.
Thanks.
You are learning lots of terminology, and a big note that you will learn from the thing that sticks in your mind right now is that whenever there is a rope on the ship, if it is just coiled up, if it's not being used for anything, it's a rope. But as soon as it is attached to something and has a purpose, it's a line.
I know the difference between ropes and lines, Duathi.
Boat facts.
That's amazing.
Subscribe.
I don't really understand what that means, but I'm so happy for you.
I'll tell you later when I rebrief.
Okay.
Debrief.
Rebrief.
Also, feel free to take a break, you know. But also, you're doing a very good job helping.
Thanks.
Just keep sitting there because I know I'm not going to be helpful.
Hutch, who is by you, currently kind of overseeing it, says, there's a lot of positive reinforcement going on with that, isn't there?
Duathi is one of the most positive influences I've ever had in my life.
All right. So anyway, back to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give me an intelligence.
Ooh.
It's like you're learning the skill.
I am.
Back to it. This is a rope. This is
Okay,
a
an
line.
18 on the die for a 17.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Looks just says,
I
The
rolled
one
good.
brain cell's working today.
well, yeah, you are doing a pretty good job. Don't want to get to your head, though. As the day's been progressing, at one point, Jeffrin heads to the back with a very thin strand with a hook on the end and some bait, chucks it over the side. As the day continues on, at one point you see him come back with a pretty decent-sized fish.
Our
Yeah.
broken fish.
Yeah.
Ah.
And
He
heads
will-
down
will-
below. And shortly after, as the evening is hinting at coming along, the sun is getting low in the sky. Doesn't take very long for delicious smell of some seared fish to begin wafting up from beneath the floorboards of the ship.
Sometime in the afternoon, with some downtime, I'd head back down to my hammock and retrieve the long box I'd taken off of the female dwarf.
Mm.
Crack it open, take a look at what's inside.
Yeah. As you give me an investigation.
Cool. Do I get to use any new toys today? Soft 20.
Soft 20. Looking over this long box, it looks as though there is a seam, and trying to work your fingers into it doesn't look like there's a way that you can open it. It is smooth on all edges. And though the edges are abrupt, they are gently curved over so as not to be sharp. They don't appear rounded, but as you feel over them, you can tell there's terribly pointed. But aside from the hook on one end, where the leather strap is, where it was attached to the belt, the only other thing on it is the little bit of writing that is inscribed. Which I
Did we get that
Said
last time?
flow.
yeah,
Flow.
it just says the word flow.
Gotcha. There doesn't appear to be any other mechanism with which it might engage or anything.
Doesn't look as though. Give me an Arcana check. 11. So you. You know that certain items, if they're magical, have other ways of triggering. You aren't able to exactly figure out what might be associated with this one, but you know there's both mechanical and magical triggers for things.
I think with that observation, then I think I would pull both Andy and Finn back to the bunks. You two, I almost completely forgot in the rush of returning to the ship, but the female assailant that we were unable to interrogate had this on their person, and well, I think we've concluded that there is some sort of magical essence about it, but Finn, can you work your magic again and tell me some additional secrets that it holds within inside?
Yeah, and I think I can at least try to identify it. I don't know if that will tell us the secrets.
Any more information that you can give us? All I can gather is that it belonged to somebody named Flo.
As you say the word flow, pull something magic
Did they put the name past? Did they type the password?
Password.
No one will guess this.
You feel the box instantly and quickly open and begin to unfold.
Oh shit!
So fast that you are actually give me a dexterity check.
Okay. Oh shit! I think I know what this.
If this
That's a 16.
A 16. You see this opening faster and so showing no signs of stopping. Not sure if this is going to fit in the room that you are in. You are able to angle it and get it into the cargo room as it unfolds into a 10-foot long, 4-foot wide, and 2-foot deep, very long yet narrow metallic canoe. And inside of it are 2 oars.
We have a metal canoe now!
I think you figured out what it does.
Unfortunately, we have a boat within a boat now.
Yo.
I'll look at it. Unflow. Backflow. No flow.
Flow.
Flow. How do I reverse it?
At which point, you see a Claudine come from the back room, pop her head out. Oh, for the love of
Sorry, Claudine.
She's sick of our shit.
Well,
It didn't go back? No.
No, we have another boat now. I was not expecting this.
Right.
How do we put it back in?
I suppose I can identify it now, still. Try to figure that out.
Incredibly convenient. I love it, but how work?
That's a good question.
yeah. Figure out how to make box again.
Can you put it down, or do you want to hold it for the next
I
11
will-
minutes?
Oh, at this point,
I was
it's,
saying-
it is on the ground.
Yeah,
like, it is
okay.
left out of your
Okay,
hand.
Like-
okay.
You said it's like 12 feet long?
It is 10 feet long.
10 feet
and,
long, 10 by 4 by
4 feet wide,
by
2 feet
2.
deep.
Yeah. In a clang, I'll have dropped it. I don't know. I guess I'll look around the sides of the perimeter of like the handrails and look for a different name that it's assumed now.
Give me an investigation check.
24.
Yeah, as you are looking around, you don't see anything on the outside. It is a perfectly smooth surface, but you do notice on the interior of the canoe, by the bow, there's a small inscription that just says land.
Land. I think it needs to touch the ground to return to its.
Or
Oh.
maybe touch it as you try.
Land.
And it folds back up into the small, and just
We're
clink, 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 clink,
learning.
rests on the floor.
Amazing.
So important note, if we ever are in that canoe, we must be very careful what we say.
I'll give
No land
all
hose.
three of you the ability to give me an Arcana check to see if you know what this is.
Okay.
Yeah, great. Oh, that's really good.
7.
That's 22.
Oh, wow, 21.
21. Both of you, upon seeing this, are like, oh yeah, I got this. This is called a river dart.
River dart.
And you know that these were. It's not ancient Jaudekian technology, but more of. It was old and has continued into this age, but little personalized crafts that were mostly used for quickly moving around small waterways. And yeah, they all have. They're triggered with the trigger words of this one, in this case being flow and land.
Are they like a regulated kind of technology these days, or are they pretty accessible?
They're easy to make. Well, for someone who is used to making magical items, it's the sort of thing that it doesn't require core to function.
Right.
So
As far as the order is concerned, it's
yeah,
not
as far as
Yeah.
your understanding, it doesn't fall under the regulations or the doctrine. And yeah,
Well,
oh, and you also know that it does not require attunement.
oh.
well, clearly.
Yeah.
I really didn't feel like concentrating, so was the easy way to find out.
Now we know.
Again, nice. If we need, should we find a body of water that we need to cross? We'll have this.
We have a thing.
It also explains how they're able to escape
Yeah.
in the middle of the night so quickly.
Right.
And so, Aaron, if you would like, you can add a river dart to your inventory. It is searchable.
Cool. Do that later.
That's everything then.
I
That we
believe so.
covered.
Yes.
Dorothy has the necklace or amulets.
Yes, presumably. We'll see what happens with that.
They were well equipped, seems. They knew exactly what they were after, and they had a plan.
Yeah. I don't know, something still feels weird about it to me. And not in the sense, I know we trust Lady Elaine at this point, but it feels very strange that it feels too targeted to just be fancy lady must have fancy things,
Well, she did have quite a purse on her. It is still
Sure.
possible that's all they were after, but I am inclined to agree.
They were really powerful.
They were. And whatever this symbol they carry was, I'm sure there's more of them somewhere.
And why would somebody be willing to off themselves just because they got caught stealing?
I don't know if that's what it was exactly. We were likely to off them if they didn't do it themselves, and if we didn't, they would have been questioned. I think they knew that.
But further to Andy's
Sure,
point,
but what is it? Why were they scared of being questioned?
That's a good point.
Sorry.
there were clearly some mechanical alterations to their form that
Right?
disturbed me.
The
And precisely, and their not just their arcane talents, but their a sinister way of taking their knowledge to the grave is,
Right.
you're right, concerning, Andy. If these were just common thieves seeking opportunity, visiting a tourist in town, picking an easy target such as Lady Elaine, then I think they would have hightailed it all the way back to Gladen or somewhere. They
And
wouldn't.
why wouldn't they have just taken the money and ran? Like, why did they keep the bags?
Precisely, it's
They had a head start on us, so they must have known what was in there.
that is
I don't know.
somewhat of a theory, but let's say they were opportunistic, looking for a big grab. To what purpose? Something or someone applied these metallic teeth to them, has the knowledge to do so of both anatomy and metallurgy, much akin to what the doctor was experimenting with, and somewhere around here there is somebody experimenting on now human patients,
Yeah.
altering their existence, and that worries me incredibly.
Well, there's something that kind of fits together for me, and it could, I don't know, could be nothing, but something about the very strong necromantic magic and those teeth relating to what those dogs did
That
and
self-destruct.
created that, but also the fact that they, basically create zombies.
It's not to be permanent modifications are being developed outside the Order's reach. Someone out there has found a blind spot. And I think that particular exploitation is the root of all of this that we've uncovered.
Well, unfortunately, it's starting to feel like everything outside of the cities is a blind spot, or a potential one. There's too many variables, and well, I sound like a broken. Correlation is not causation, but seems to be out here. Nothing means nothing. Everything so far has a connecting thread. It's just a question of which node does it connect to.
Yeah.
I think we'll need to look more into this organization, cult, or whatever that symbol represents. And I do see the correlation with Dr. Sada's technology, but we can't possibly know that they're connected.
No. I don't know. It's my brain is just starting to kind of connect things where I can, because it's just something still seems to be missing from what happened.
We can try to learn more about Lady Elaine. I get the sense her family is not with us anymore, but that could be the reason to target. Not necessarily her, but her connections, leverage over her.
Sure. Could have been some sort of extortion. I don't know. Just things to think about.
I do get the sense that whatever reason she was targeted, it's not anything malicious on her part. I do trust her.
Yeah, I don't think it's her. It just I don't know. It still seems off to me.
Everything seems off still.
Yeah. Anyway, we have a boat.
We have a boat.
On a boat.
And tomorrow we will have a way to contact the Aethagok.
That's exciting.
I've been thinking on it for a while, and I think I got it figured out. A way to tune into a specific frequency of the Melos and send a message through.
That's incredible.
Well, let's see if it works. I think I need a little rest first, but
Farewell.
at least,
Okay.
at least we can get word.
Yeah.
And well, if they didn't know what they sent us after, we
Yeah.
might have some new orders. How much should we relay?
About everything.
Let's just say I have a limited amount of words. We can put this message in, and well, I don't think all of it is relevant necessarily.
I mean, just to get their attention, I would just say, they sent us for contraband? We have contraband. Must discuss. And then we have time to figure it out from there.
All right, that works.
I don't really want to leave all of our friends, though.
Something tells me they'll stick it out with us, at least as far as Saros Mina. Hyken seems actually excited to return, surprisingly. And I seem to be dreading it more the closer we get.
I know.
But,
Focus on work, Finn.
Yeah.
Focus on work.
yeah. Speaking of,
I guess I should talk to Zacharatian. I feel like I've been avoiding him all day.
he feels very guilty for sleeping through
no.
the encounter last night, so maybe you can put his mind at ease, and we can all
Okay.
distract ourselves.
Okay, let's go do that.
Do you want to do some experiments?
Sure.
Alright, well, I'll take your lead, but I'll take notes. And maybe we can learn a thing or two about Chauncey, or about Zachary's ability. One or the other.
Yeah. He's good at building. I think we'll see if his mom is right and he needs more ideas.
Well, he's certainly not lacking for enthusiasm.
That's for sure.
And I think he'll be a good role model when it comes to ideas.
Thanks. I don't teach that, but
I think you need to know. I think you just need to do.
yeah. Okay.
Right.
Well,
Let's go find Zachary.
All right. You head about to look for Zachary. It does not appear as though he is below decks.
okay.
As you peek into the galley, you see Jeffrin working away at the stove there. There's a loud searing sound that is, and as he turns, like, "Hello, did you hear something a second ago?"
Nope.
All right. Dinner will be ready in
Oh,
about
he's probably okay.
10
Oh.
minutes.
I was like, what?
I know, I got scared and then I realized what it was.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know.
How loud was it?
It was a metal boat hitting wood.
The unfolding of it was fairly. It was a lot of clicking, but it was very like methodical and quick. So the clicking themselves was quite quiet, but the hitting of it onto the bottom, the hull hitting the hull, did have a little bit of a clang and a because of the metal nature of it. There was a reverberation.
I have no idea what that
Like an
was.
empty barrel
No,
bouncing down the
never
stairs.
heard a noise ever in my life.
And as you head above deck,
Yeah. We would have invited Aaron to come with us if he wanted to.
Someone
Up
has
to you,
Someone
just-
has to keep his expectations level, I think.
You seem like the man for the job.
You can butter him up, but if I need to, I'll lay the hard line.
Honestly, great.
I thought that'd be my
Let's
role.
good cop, bad cop this.
Lead the way. I'll tell how long, but it's this is your domain.
as you head up top, looking out for Zachary, you do see him hang out near the bow. He seems to be resting up against some of the cargo. And whereabouts is everyone else at this time?
At this point, I think I'd probably just be sitting on the edge of the deck, looking over the railing, just kind of 1,000-yard staring.
And you're learning as much as you can boat-wise, or?
If we're getting close to the evening, I think I probably would quietly just kind of keep post next to Duathi, have that creature comfort of being close.
Staring off at
Yeah.
So, yeah, you see Zachary, and as you approach, he looks over and sees it too, and he kind of stiffens up, and diverts his gaze mostly from you, Andy.
Hey, Zachary.
Hi. Hello.
What? What's going on?
I'm just taking it all in.
Like last night, or just?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm dealing
it's-
with a lot.
It's okay.
I know.
Look,
I don't know, but I know.
no, it was a really, honestly, dangerous situation, and it was, honestly, it put all of us to ease that you were safe and asleep and not
That's-
worried, and
That's what Finn was saying, and
See?
I mean, I know it's probably the best thing to do, but that just feels like something I should be ready for, and I should.
Zachary.
Is that part of the job?
No, I didn't even know that it was part of the job.
I was like, okay.
Technically, it was not part of the job.
Yeah, so,
Oh, okay. So we.
well,
that's not what
it's complicated.
Oh, good.
It might
I'm
be
usually good-
something that you eventually learn to do,
Oh,
but it was not something that we knew.
I'm
would
good with
happen.
complicated things. I
That's
can.
great.
I'm good at sorting them out. I'm good at.
I think with with you, we just start from the beginning and don't worry about that stuff.
Okay.
Because that is not, it's not what you would learn if you went to the Aetergog.
I'll be honest, it's been a lot in the last 2 days, because
Yeah.
a lot, because already I feel like I'm deviating from, my plan, and, well, because, at first I was just gonna go to adventure, I was gonna go meet Bogdan, I was gonna, study and, convinced to learn with him, but now that I met you, and it seems like I can just go straight to the Aetergog and learn there.
Well,
But I'm wondering if I'm ready for that, and
yeah. And that's okay. You can take time to learn and venture. Look, we got a lot of stuff going on. So, I'm happy while we have the time here to talk and experiment and figure some stuff out, but there's no rush.
And maybe this will put your mind at ease, even though it does the opposite for me, but we're not ready either.
No.
We're learning on the job still.
okay.
I freaked out last night.
I've been freaking out this whole time.
Maybe I should, I don't know, do you think, because I thought I'd be, apprenticing under you, but is that,
I mean,
do you have the time for that, with
I
going out
don't
and,
know, to
Okay.
be honest.
because I don't have to be, I don't have to be a burden, I don't have to be,
No.
I can,
Look,
I think you can be of aid.
yeah,
Okay.
you'd never be a burden.
And
But I think I don't know, there's a lot you could learn in venture from, what's his,
Bogdan,
Bogdan.
yeah, that was gonna, that was the original plan.
Yeah.
well, it can still be the plan as far as anybody's concerned. You haven't deviated yet. You're still on the way to venture.
And we'll know where you are, and we can keep in touch, come find you, and we can figure stuff out as we go along.
Yeah.
There's no pressure.
And
Okay.
lots of time still before you have to make any decisions.
Yeah.
Including 2 more days on the river here, and then
That's true.
however long we spend in venture, which
Yeah.
time will tell.
Yeah.
But whether or not you come with us to Melos Machina, we can still put in a good word, and
Absolutely.
perhaps we can find tasks for you to learn by doing that don't put you quite in the same danger we were in last
Yeah,
night. Because that was
as much as I would like to bounce ideas off of each other, I think what we're doing is just, it's a lot. And we don't need to put you in the deep end immediately.
I really wish I had something I could make right now. Anytime I had frustrations like this, I would just go to my mom's forge and I would make something, and it would focus
Let's
me
make
in.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we were going to do some experimenting, but we also have a long list of projects that we could start on.
All right. Yeah.
Start on.
Well, there's the mobile forge.
Yeah. Oh yeah, let's make the mobile forge.
There's Chauncey mobility ideas.
Sure.
There's what else is there? Oh, there's the engine of the boat. Although that seems like
Yeah.
a big project.
I don't know if I like what I have on me, but let's figure something out.
You hear footsteps behind you as Hutch just goes, "Please don't build a mobile forge on the boat."
Okay, we won't burn the
He walks
boat
past.
down, Hutch.
Dang.
Jeez.
That was the top of the list.
But I definitely have leftover materials and stuff that we can kind of play around with, and why not?
I'd really like that.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Let me go get my tools.
Okay, great.
He stands up and he rushes downstairs.
Oh, he's such a good kid.
He's a real good kid. And honestly, I'm glad he had hesitations about following us around, because I did not want to be the bearer of bad news.
I mean, I have hesitations about following us around. But
Oh.
what choice do we have?
Yeah. We're in it now.
He's smarter than me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Very quickly, he comes back up, tying a smith's apron kind of around his waist, and he's got what looks like a big leather roll, and he walks up and says, "Okay," and kind of lets the latch loose and just tumbles open. You see hammer, tongs, all and some intricate detail working needle pliers, a magnifying glass. It's somewhere between a forger's kit and a tinkerer's kit, but not quite a complete version of either. All right, let's do this.
Let's do this.
And you see, yeah, give me an insight check really quick.
He's excited.
Nope. Oh, Jesus. That's a 7.
7.
Jason was a carpenter, not a blacksmith.
He was. Sorry.
You're able to catch, not exactly sure what everything was going on, but as soon as that task has been given, all of his nerves seem to be gone.
At it. Yeah. Okay, great. He is just
That throughout the evening, as you're up there working with Zach, the call for dinner is made. You can either go down and eat together, or food is brought to you if you are working away.
I feel like we're working.
I'll bring some plates up.
Thank you, Aaron.
Where is Lady Elaine eating?
With the call to dinner being made, you head down below and you see the Lady Lane seems to be at the dining table. Just resting there, very... Even in... She looks slightly more disheveled than she did the day before, but still very well put together and surrounded by all of the cargo and the roughery that is the down below the ship. There's still that just air of elegance to her there.
I'd like to eat with her, specifically. Yeah. Do you mind if I join you?
Do not at all. I can. Please.
You seem like you're holding up okay.
I'd like to think that I am very capable of holding myself together.
I mean, looks may be deceiving, but you seem like you're in tip-top shape.
And the secret is to not let you know if it's a deception or not.
I won't pry.
Well, I won't tell. How'd your day fare?
Great. Not fighting murderous passengers, so
You seem to be getting quite the lesson.
yeah. We've been on various ships and boats and logs now, and I feel like I should finally,
Logs.
yeah, logs.
Slip that right in.
Yeah.
Ships, boats, dogs.
I know Dwathi and I have traveled all over the waterways on various craft.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I was wondering, you seem to enjoy traveling. What place feels like home away from home for you?
What a great question. I think it changes based on the time and how much I've spent somewhere. So no matter what, I think I do call venture my home, or a place of work. I think my home away from home varies. If I've spent too much time in one place, then the urge to go somewhere else.
I understand.
I do have a deep love of Gladen, though.
We missed the baths, but we'll be back, I'm sure. I know I don't want to trudge up unpleasant memories, but is this the first time that you've ever been targeted? Thieves.
No. No. It was the most jarring time that I've ever been had that happen. It was I'm not accustomed to being awoken with a hand on my mouth and a knife.
Yeah. I mean,
It certainly was exciting.
I will say thank you. You gave us a blood trail to follow, so.
Glad that worked.
Yeah. I think that's one of those moments where you say, you should see the other guy.
I imagine I might not want to.
It's not going the way I thought it was going to go. But,
How did you think it was going to go?
I had some romanticized idea that we could talk it through, or they'd hand over whatever they stole, and they'd move on with their lives. But
Fixing them or just learning?
a little bit of both, I suppose. There's been a lot of learning over the last few weeks.
I meant to ask, did you learn anything about them? Obviously, you weren't able to talk to them.
No, they sure, well, one of them got whammed on pretty hard. The other one decided not to talk and bit down on something and ended her own life and ruined some of the evidence of what would be her body.
Fascinating. Well,
Sorry if that's
no, it's
gory.
I have a pretty solid stomach when it comes to things of that nature. But it is a shame that couldn't talk to them. But I can't imagine how much what would have been learned.
What would I have asked? Hey, why'd you steal that thing from Lady Elaine? I don't question people often. When was the last time you got attacked?
Oh, heavens. It's been well over a year now at this point.
Oh, so soon.
I suppose when you think of it that way, yes. This is by far the most memorable, I would say.
Yeah. In the middle of the river, in the middle of the night, where only 9 or 10 people can hear you scream. Just seems strange.
I mean, it isn't any less fun when it happens in the middle of the day on a street when dozens of people can hear you scream, but
Yeah.
certainly it's over much faster.
Hmm.
And typically you get to talk to them.
Did you learn how to wield the blade?
Oh, it's same way I learned to wield everything. It's just something that everyone needs to know, I would think. Whether you're carving up some meat, well, I suppose carving up meat is exactly what you're doing in either case, but whether it's for a meal or for self-defense. And let's just say it comes in handy when maybe there's somebody who isn't exactly trying to steal money from you, and someone who won't take no for an answer.
They deserve that.
And they get what they deserve with me.
Do you think they got what they deserved?
See, that's why I wish we could have talked to them,
Yeah.
because then we would have known what they deserved. And it's possible that they did, and it's possible that they didn't, but they got what they got. And we are still here, and that is what we deserved.
Hmm. I guess you're right. Just wish everything would make more sense.
And that is something we all deserve, but we
Yes.
never get. None of us. But you can keep trying.
Yeah. What we do deserve is this flaky fish.
And you continue your meal together. The evening progresses. Unless there's anything else any of you would like to do. The night comes. After meals are had. Good evenings have been given. And as you all crawl in for bed, it's a relaxing night. You fall asleep. You can feel the tense stares coming out.
When
My
is
ears
the
are like-
music gonna get intense?
Elf ear twitches.
Nice.
I just want to get to the next morning and be able to cast something. So curious.
You all get a long rest.
Yeah, barbarian.
All right.
Finn, your level of exhaustion goes away.
Excellent.
Don't miss that creepy misty music that we start playing.
Yeah.
What does this button do?
Yeah.
I think the night previously I would have like been there for moral support with Andy and Zachary, but definitely been drifting off, pretending to take notes. So much needed long rest coming here.
The next morning, you are awakened the smell of fresh, but familiar now, the porridge with the hints of cinnamon, but also the smell of some leftover fish. Breakfast is served, porridge with small fish cakes that have been worked into patties.
Delicious. We'll eat with gusto.
Jeffred, you have outdone yourself.
Well, it's just breakfast. That's all.
I mean, I don't know, maybe I just feel good this morning, but
I'm glad to hear that.
it's delicious.
Well, eat up. There's not too terribly much left. Unfortunately, I don't think there's not enough for seconds. Everyone gets one patty, and they are small. But
Yes, sir.
I'll see if I can't catch another one today.
I appreciate it no matter what.
Enjoy. I'm going to relieve Father. I think he could. I'm sorry, the captain. I think he can use a break.
soon as I eat, I'm going to go back up to the railing and try and stare ahead. I'm trying to spot as much of the land as I can.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd like to follow you up. What are you searching for?
I don't know.
Whatever's around the next bend.
Sort of.
Home.
Maybe. Nothing looks familiar.
We'll get you there. What would look familiar?
It's sort of hard to explain other than my home. You know?
Guess when you put it like that.
I was sort of hoping that those cliffs might have mountains. But I don't think I'm going to find it that way. So I think I just need to get to Sarosh Manor.
Maybe that'll help reorient our directions, you know?
Maybe. I'm also just hoping maybe somebody knows where it is.
I feel like I should have asked you this before, but what is it called?
My home?
Yeah.
Oh, my village.
Yeah, like is there like
Sure.
rivers meet or upstream
It's called a Resi.
a racing?
Our Resi.
Alright. So we will ask someone in Saros Manor if they know where that is. And it's in the mountains.
No, but there are mountains
Nearby.
nearby.
Okay.
So I just want to go and see if maybe anybody there that sounds familiar to anybody, or if they know any place like that. To be perfectly honest, I'm not terribly optimistic, but I do need to go ask them because I'm very confused and I can't find home. So, you know.
I know. I'm sorry we haven't been able to search.
To be fair, I haven't tried. I don't think I'm going to find it that way.
What about your bones?
That's not really how the bones work. The bones don't tell you which direction to go or anything like that. They helped me with things that are happening right now. They can't really see into the future like that. So, I know I am not going towards home right now. So, there you go. But so that's asking them. I went for a ticket, but I already know, which is that I don't know where to go.
Well, we'll figure out what the right questions are to ask.
Maybe. But leaving is not really safe, you know. We're not supposed to because it's not safe, and you can get lost, and I got lost, and if I'm just lost forever, then that's what it is.
But you miss it.
Sure. It is, to be honest, more that I think I am needed. But, you know, I have a lot of questions, and I'm really hoping that there's someone in Saros Manor who might be able to answer any of them. But,
It's a big place.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll find someone that knows more.
well, I know I talked about it, but I'm kind of hoping that Finn and Andy can take me to the Lawkeepers.
I should hope they do.
So,
I want to see what all hubbub is about.
and I'm hoping maybe they can answer my questions, you know?
Seems like the right place to ask.
Yeah.
wants to be lost?
That's a really complicated question. I mean, I like it a lot here. It's all very beautiful, and there's so much to do, and there's so many people and so many places to go, and it's really exciting, and everything is new, and the food is always so delicious, and I get to do so many interesting things and have adventures, which, you know, I wasn't really allowed to, you know, go out and have too many exciting adventures, you know, and so I'm enjoying all that.
We're sure having adventures now.
But I don't know, it's kind of hard. I know I shouldn't want to be.
Sometimes you need to stretch your wings a little bit.
Yeah.
Why weren't you allowed to leave?
Oh, well, so being able to, you know, do what I can do, and working with the other druids there, you know, it's very important for us to be able to, you know, help feed people and make sure that all the land is healthy and grow food and take care of people who are sick and things like that. So there aren't lots of us, so it is important, and there's not a lot of us who can do it. So you know, going out and doing dangerous things, you know, it's mind you, I was not by far the most powerful one of the druids there, but like, you know, there's still not lots of us, and it was a valuable resource. So that kind of thing was left to other people, and I would stay home for the most part and help take care of everyone. That's what we did. That's what we do. So.
That's honorable.
Yep.
It's a job.
It sure is. It's very important. But, you know, and it's exciting. I like doing what I'm doing, you know, and getting to learn all the new things. And my teachers the other druids are very fascinating and very interesting to learn from. They have a lot to teach me, and there's a lot to learn, you know, but you know, it's always sort of, you know, inside. Staying in the village, making sure it's safe, you know.
Take care of this, take care of that.
Mm-hmm.
Watch that. Don't go too far.
No. Be sort of, you know, exactly. So, you know.
And now here you are on the lock jumper.
Yeah, very far from.
And as the two of you are chatting, the cliffs in the distance are getting closer and closer, to the point that you look over to the western bank and you see the hills beginning to slowly raise and not decline, as they are now continuing to grow.
It's going to be very amazing, I imagine.
Yeah. These your mountains?
No. No, my mountains are. And again, they're not even mine. They're way far away, but you know, they're mountains.
Okay. Okay.
Not particularly mountains. They're not. Certainly not whatever is about to happen right now.
You hear from down below. All right, up there, if you two wouldn't mind coming down, things get a little blustery here as we get to the cliffs. So.
Oh.
Let's hold on tight.
We
Yeah.
have to go
Oh,
down.
no,
We
no.
can't be
Down,
up-
down.
Not, yeah. Down away.
Oh, we
Hold on tight.
We can't be up here during the. Okay, fair enough. Okay.
I've learned one thing, Duathi. A few things.
A few things.
When you're on a boat,
When you're on a boat.
You listen to the captain.
Okay, fair enough.
And for any of you who are on the deck of the ship, as the morning is progressing, you can see now the hills on the western bank raising to where they're, in many places, the ground is level with the upper deck of the ship where the captain and the helm is. And it stays that way for a while. Captain calls down. So we've made some pretty good time. Looks like we'll be coming up to the venture early this afternoon. Like I said before, it can get a little blustery with the rising cliffs. It is unpredictable sometimes with the wind. So look about.
Mm-hmm.
And then he nods to Jeffrey and says, "Thank you, I'll take it from here," and relieves his son and takes the helm.
Go down. If he says it, yeah.
Blustery meaning like windy, like gonna be tossed about a little bit because of the cliffs? Is that what he's implying? I just want to make sure I understand.
Definitely windy, an unpredictable wind, it sounds like, is
Gotcha,
what he's
okay.
saying.
One day, I hope that I am strong enough to become a bird, and then I could fly above the boat, and it would be really cool. But for now, I will do exactly as I'm told and sit down in the bottom of the boat and hold on tight.
I'll go sit by the cot and just make sure it's not jostled too hard and
Sure.
spill its contents.
Down in the cargo hold,
Mhm.
can I do a curiosity, see if the barrels of the cider have been like tampered with at any point over the last couple of days?
Sure, heading down below. As you go below to the cider, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
9.
9. Looking at them, they all seem fairly well affixed, mostly covered. You see some wear and tear on the casks. You aren't sure how much of it is fresh, how much of it is old. You don't see any immediate tampering with, but you aren't exactly sure outside of a very clear, cut or something, what that might look like, but you don't see any clear things.
Safe, guys.
And same, I guess I would do the same with the cot, just to make sure that no one's been snooping around.
Sure. Give me an investigation check on your card.
Corpse in it.
It's been
It's still
gently
fine.
reposed.
Still
yeah.
fine.
That is going to be a 22.
22. You, on the other hand, know exactly how this cart was left. And you see all of the sheets have been tied down nicely. The covering on your contraband is well affixed. And it is, you take a peek inside and it is still there.
Okay.
And as you're inspecting the rest of the cart, you see no signs of tampering. You see nothing out of place, and you see nothing new affixed.
I think as Icon and I are we kind of meet in the middle and lock eyes across the cargo hold as I'm by the cart and you're by the...
Now, you were up on deck.
Oh, sorry.
And, yes,
Yeah,
the
the
cart is
cart's
on deck and the
upstairs.
casks are in the hold.
Gotcha. Never mind. Okay, sorry. I thought the cart was...
We
down below.
labyrinth.
It's all good.
Gotcha. Never mind then. Never mind then. I will head back down. Actually, yeah. I think as I investigate the cart and head back down per the captain's orders, I'll see Icon kind of poking around the casks, and I'll just kind of catch your eye and just kind of give you a knowing nod that interest has not been forgotten. And as we do so, you start to feel a little bit of like a static fuzz kind of ring in your ears. and then you start to hear a bit of a chime in your head until eventually it solidifies, and you hear the words, "Yes, we need to look into this when we get to Venture," in your head, but my lips aren't moving.
Yes, we should. I try to think back at you.
Clear as a bell.
Shit.
The severity of what we just discovered with the presence of these assailants has demonstrated that more impressive tactics are needed. So
This is impressive. A little weird. But cool. How... Is it just like walkie-talkie?
it's just you and me right now.
Just us?
Just you and me.
Okay. How long does this last?
3 hours.
Okay. Lady Elaine is amazing. She is really cool. But this is not the first time she's been targeted. So, is this a common thing for you richer people?
I cannot speak for every rich person who lives within Saros Manor, Icon.
But I'm just wondering how common it is to have such a target on your back.
Unfortunately, sometimes a name carries certain notoriety ahead of you. The more you make yourself known, the more you open yourself up to assailants and benefactors in the same breath. If she's admitted to previous confrontation, it could be of her own making. It very well could also be pure happenstance. While I admit the occurrence of this attempt in our presence could be coincidence, could very well be beneficial, circumstantial, who knows? But she also is incredibly hard to persuade to divulge any pertinent information that we could use to our assistance, so I think once we reach Venture, we might need to reach out to other notable persons in the city as to her notoriety, into her professions, into her connections, if we want to discern more about why she was the victim of this attack. I don't believe she's going to divulge that willingly.
I'm not sure she knows.
It's entirely probable.
And I think this might be my imagination running wild with me. And even though I realized that, like, a clock, that we're just, like, staring at each other, and I start fussing with stuff to try and pretend like I'm not just, like, staring at Aaron.
Under deck.
Just Claudia in the back, like, these freaks.
And I'll start thinking,
She's not.
it's coincidental that the same kind of acid, whatever they had in their mouth, so similar to that of the dogs. Are we being set up or played or watched? See how we react to things? Like, I feel like I'm going absolutely grasping at straws, and I know I'm not the thinker. Just so many things keep happening?
To answer the first, no, I do not believe we are being observed and judged based on our decisions and our actions. I believe the disposal at which Dr. Sada and these dwarves met their demise was a contingency plan should they be found out, and it seems whoever is manufacturing or altering in such ways has done their best to anticipate this discovery, and they do not want it to be found out. They know it's wrong, therefore and that is why they seem it best to be destroyed than discovered and exposed.
Yeah. A bag of personal effects is not worth that to me.
I think it's... What's more concerning is that, well, no, it's not about the specific items. I think... I have a theory that whoever is assailing the ships between here and Venture is looking to capitalize on rich cargo to further fund their experimentations or satisfy some material need for whatever they're creating, whatever Dr. Sada made and constructed, whatever was attached to these dwarves' mouths needs some sort of source. So the base of operations, I believe, is, I have a hunch, near the river, between Riversmeet and Venture. It's possible the dwarves were heading there when we encountered them. But we won't know unless we come back this way, on foot, unannounced. Which is a topic for another day.
If it ends in Gladen, I'll take that walk.
I would agree with that.
You don't hear everything that I think, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Cool. I mean, not a lot goes on up there, but sometimes it's just trying to untangle and it's messy.
It's not a sonar. It's an intentional connection that I make.
Okay. 3 hours.
Sometimes more, sometimes less. Changes with the day.
Did you have any younger siblings?
No.
You're about to. I'm just gonna walk off and every few minutes. What are you doing?
I'm making a piece of toast.
Cool. And just every now and again for the 3 hours.
And as you were doing the second one, there is a lurch of the ship to one side. Those of you on deck.
No, I went under.
Said go under.
I think we're all under.
All right, no one on deck. You just feel the lurch.
Oh my gosh.
That might be my cue. I would have taken breakfast to the hammock and spent the entirety of the morning not writing in pen, writing in just a loose leaf piece of parchment, a message, crossing out words, rewriting it, reworking it till it's perfect. And on that lurch, assuming that we're getting close to Venture, I'd like to cast Sending.
Okay.
Send a message to Jovic.
To Jovic, all right.
And just whispered under my breath. We've learned much, yet many loose threads remain. Some point towards corruption within the Order. We've recovered a dangerous artifact. Hasten return, or investigate further?
There's a pause in here. You're growing. That's good. Troubling words. Follow the threads and see what lays in store. I trust you.
Thank you, friend. I say that out loud to myself, knowing it's going nowhere, but that's what I needed to hear. I don't know if anybody else was in the room around
I'm
that
there.
time,
I'm
but-
in the hammock. I'm just like trying to survive.
I don't know where I would have been. I probably actually, yeah, no, I probably would have been there, I guess, because it, but also going.
Andy, I think we're on the right track. And I think we have time if we need it.
Okay.
And I think we're almost off this boat.
Yep.
How did you do? What were you doing?
Just
Ian, what were you doing?
talking into the ether. Nothing. I was testing that theory I had about how to reach Sarah's Mea.
Did it work? Did it work? Did it work?
I think it did.
Oh my gosh! What did they say? You don't have to tell me if it's right now. I know we're supposed to be not talking about it as much.
Just to keep following the threads and to trust ourselves.
Okay. How do you do that?
You know, it's taken me a long time to figure out how to do it and figuring out how to explain it.
Can
I mean,
you?
you remember? You remember the statue in Gladen?
Yeah.
The interconnectedness of things. I just found the right thread.
Can you say hello to anybody?
If I'm familiar with them, and if I'm, well, it takes a lot of energy.
Okay.
I can do it once more today.
That's amazing. What a fun ability. That's all. I just wanted to know. You know, you were, being all like, oh, sneaky and covert. And I was like, oh, I wonder if he's doing something cool. And you were! So there you go. And that was very amazing.
You should know how to boost some as you go, Dwati. It's appreciated.
You know, the world is, dark and the people are mean sometimes. And, sometimes it's nice to have somebody who's telling you, you're doing a good job. Especially when you are.
It is nice. You're doing a good job too, Dwati.
But thank you. I'm just trying to hold it still and also, see what's going to happen with this boat. I'm so sorry, Andy. I know you don't enjoy this. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I think this is very fascinating, and I'm trying to be respectful of the fact that you do not enjoy this, but I also think it's really cool.
Look, you're allowed to enjoy yourself,
That's fair.
even if I am not.
That's fair enough. No, I have nothing I can do that could
It's
help.
okay.
Anything I do would make it worse. Yep.
Well, I think
I appreciate it.
put your mind at ease, Andy, even if your stomach is not. I slide Pal under the. Well, is there a pillow on the hammock? I don't know.
Not really, no.
I kind of slide Pal under my head then as a pillow and just close my eyes, like relaxing for the first time on this boat.
As more time passes, it's a little more of a bumpy ride. Every so often, there is a more aggressive lean to the ship as it tilts over and is corrected. It doesn't happen often, but you hear the that accompanies it.
Okay.
Is there an eye line from below deck to the captain?
Not really. There's a little bit of a grate in the cargo area that you can look up, but you'll see outside.
I want to brave just my head. I want to see how the captain is like holding the ship. Because this is like the roughest we've ever felt.
What's his composure like?
Yeah, I
it's
just
not-
want to see him in action.
Sure. Going up on deck, or
Just enough to see him.
'Cause
I
from
don't-
where it is, you'll have to
'Cause
go
it's like
up,
an-
and then yeah, exactly. It curls around,
You'll have to defy the captain.
and it's. I will say it's not often that these are happening.
Yeah, I'll brave it just far enough to see where he is and brace myself on anything that's stable.
Sure. As you come above deck, the first thing that you see as you turn the corner is the eastern bank is just as low as it was before. As you turn, the western bank has become this sheer cliff that now towers over the mast, roughly over 3 times its height.
Cool.
And it appears to be continuing to grow. Looking back over at the captain, you see the day is still gorgeous. The river is still fairly wide here. It has narrowed, but still over 1,000 feet from one side to the other. The cliff that you were looking at is growing with every passing mile. And as you turn and look back over to the captain, he's there, calmly holding the steering wheel. At one point, you hear the wind coming before you feel it, and you feel the boat kind of pull. And as that happens, the captain steadies himself and leans against the wheel, pulling it with him, just keeping the boat firm and adjusting his course slightly. And that appears to be it.
Just watch him for a little bit and then head back down. Way more calm.
Everything alright?
Yeah. The captain is really, really good at what he does. Impressive cliffs. A little. Is there such thing as like reverse being afraid of heights? Like you look up at something and it makes you kind of nauseous.
I don't think I've ever seen anything big enough to make me feel that way.
It's just a strange perspective.
I peek up in one eye. Sounds a little bit like agoraphobia. They thought I had that growing up. Turns out I just like staying inside.
Oh.
But I don't know about just large things, or if it's just large open spaces.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if we're getting close to Venture, is Venture gonna be lots of heights?
I asked if Venture was on the cliff, and the captain said, "Oh, you wait and see." Which, is a thing that, my parents would tell me when I was excited for something when I was very, very small, but I am not very, very small anymore, so I don't really know what it's supposed to mean, but I'm very excited for it.
Duarte does the best to wait.
Well, then perhaps we will have the most magnificent views we've ever seen.
Yeah.
That you then hear a bell. Ding-ling, ding-ling, ding-ling. What is it?
I think we know what that means.
Would I have learned what that bell means?
You know
Says
the
I
bell
can speak
typically it's used to make all sorts of announcements and alerts. There's both a bell and a whistle. The bell is typically used for guests, whereas the whistle is used for the crew. You have noticed that for the most part, though, as you were learning, you were taught about the whistle, but you haven't noticed them using it fact, as far as communication goes, there's been a couple of orders, but everything else just seems to be seamless with this crew. And as that's happening, you hear movement coming from the stern of the ship. As you look through, you can see the Lady Elaine stepping out and kind of Zachary rushing towards the stairs. They both head up deck.
Oh, I guess we're here.
Okay.
Let's get you off this boat, Andy.
Yeah.
I'll help Andy out of their hammock.
Thank you.
Just real quickly before time runs out,
Mm-hmm.
I can.
Are you in my boat?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It would benefit both of us. This particular skill goes unsaid. Can I burden you with one more secret?
Seems less explosive than the Cracker Jack.
Certainly.
Your secret is safe with me. But do not think for a second that the next time you do this, I'm gonna be just as annoying.
Part of me wants to be like, I look up at Ike and be like, why are you weirdly staring at him?
No longer eye contact.
It's just eyebrowography.
Right. That's it. That's all I got.
As you all come up on deck, the cliffside that you had seen has continued to grow. It is now towering roughly 600 feet above on the western bank. And as you look ahead of the ship, you see the eastern bank is the same lowered size. And you see the natural shoreline up ahead as there seems to be a curve. Far ahead, you see the natural shoreline eventually end at a stone wall. You see the wall butts up directly to the river. And from there, you were able to see past where the shoreline has been replaced with more stone, creating a reinforced walkway. Now, along the bank, you see a scattering of 30 or so buildings in this small town on the eastern bank. Variety of shapes and sizes before your view is cut off by the western cliff as you continue coming around this bank. Now, among these buildings, a lone tower stands out as it raises nearly 100 feet into the air, about the same, a little bit taller than the mast that the two of you have been climbing. Now, as the lock jumper begins to make this bank, the cliff gives way, and more shoreline comes into view. More buildings and more buildings along the eastern bank, and a small collection of masts of what must be a small harbor. And then the second tower comes into view. This one seeming as part of the western bank on the cliffside, but as the boat continues to move, you see it's actually part of an island and is in the middle of the river. And this one towering twice as tall as the tower on the eastern bank. Halfway up, a bulge of, it's shimmering, and it looks like as the light is catching it, it must be glass in the middle of this tower. As it raises higher and higher, you look to the top and you see another glimmer of light catch your eye as a small rectangular object begins to move away from this tower and drift up and up and up. And as your eye line follows this, that's when you look to the coming up clear of the western bank, a massive tower that falls all the way down to the waterline, creating a wall up top that cuts away. It disappears immediately as you can't see past the cliff. But all along the cliffside, rows and rows of buildings at the top of this cliff. And it stretches for hundreds, 1,000, over 1,000 feet all along. can see little motes of movement as people are walking about. And as your eyes catch back to this object, you can see it beginning to come into rest on a building right on the edge of this cliffside where two waterfalls encompass it on either side. Not as flowing as the waterfalls in Gladen. These tend to be a lot more controlled, maybe even man-made. As you look down, you see the eastern bank. There's a collection of buildings and a small town. But the western cliffs seem to house a massive town atop it. And as you look, you see another dock and harbor resting along the cliff, and a massive steel door carved into the cliffside. A second, even taller, farther in, massive steel door carved deep into the cliffside, leading to all of the buildings above. You hear the captain call out, "Welcome to Gladen, everyone."
Venture.
Oh yes, welcome to Venture, everyone. Enjoy your stay. And with that, we are going to end today's episode.
Epic.
As we all just
Players and characters just
like kids in New York City.
We'll be back next week to see about spending some time in definitely not Gladen Venture.
I mean, we'll go back to Gladen if
Yeah.
that's an option.
Yeah.
And to see what lays in store in this city and what you all are going to be doing. You all have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much for being here with us. We hope that you have enjoyed the show. If you are part of our subscribers or part of our patrons, be sure to head on over to our Discord. We are going to have our post-show hangout. We're going to be hanging out there as we decompress for about 10, 15 minutes. You can hear us talk about, I don't know, whatever has been happening. If you would like, please, if you've been watching and have been enjoying it, please consider giving us a follow, giving us a like, subscribing to our channel, wherever you might be watching or listening. Until next week, have a good one. We'll see you then. Bye, everyone.